Welcome back to The Clean Truth by Ruby.
Glad to be back. We've got a really important one today.
We really do. So this is our 32nd episode, and it is titled Air Fryer Cleaning Mistakes That Can Damage Your Appliance.
Which is such a massive topic right now. Because, cleaning an air fryer seems simple enough, right?
Right, you just wipe it out and you're done.
Yeah.
Or so you think.
Exactly. But so many people are unknowingly using methods that can, seriously reduce the lifespan of the appliance.
Yeah.
Or even completely damage the internal components.
Oh, yeah. Like, we're talking about really common mistakes using abrasive scrubbers, harsh chemicals, excessive water, metal tools, or just trying cleaning methods that the manufacturers definitely do not recommend.
Yeah, and those mistakes aren't just cosmetic. I mean, they actively damage the nonstick coatings, the heating elements, and even the airflow systems.
Which is exactly why today we're taking a super practical approach. We want to emphasize how important it is to use cleaning products and techniques that actually work, but, remain completely safe for the appliance materials.
Totally. You have to protect your investment.
Exactly. And honestly, integrating something like Ruby's air fryer cleaning bundle is just part of a much smarter appliance care routine. It takes the guesswork out of it. So let's break down the cleaning mistakes that could be shortening the life of your air fryer.
And to do that, we're jumping into a really fascinating deep dive today. We're looking at a teardown and restoration process of what might literally be the worst-case scenario.
Oh, man. The college dorm air fryer.
Yes. Imagine an air fryer that has just been sitting in a dorm for 2 solid years, cooking like hundreds of batches of midnight pizza rolls, frozen wings, and questionable mozzarella sticks.
Just nonstop greasy food. And in all those 730 days, it was never cleaned once, not a single time.
Right. It's basically a biohazard. But our mission for this deep dive is tackling that exact nightmare. We are going to figure out how to deep clean the absolute worst part of your air fryer without destroying the appliance in the process.
Because it's not just a surface issue, right? That baked-on grime actively changes the taste of your food.
Oh, 100%. It turns fresh vegetables into something that tastes faintly like, last semester's fish sticks.
Gross. But it's so true. If you have ever flipped your own air fryer upside down and felt that sudden wave of panic looking at the ceiling of the cooking chamber, you know exactly what we are talking about today.
It is the ultimate out-of-sight, out-of-mind trap. We just don't ask questions about the dark ceiling above the basket as long as the food comes out crispy.
Right, but when you do look up there, you realize you're dealing with a really complex landscape. It's not just metal.
No, not at all. You have a powerful heating element, the fan system, and all the delicate internal electronics. They are all densely packed right next to the area that gets the dirtiest.
Yeah, the proximity is what blew my mind. The heating coil isn't just hanging out in empty space.
Yeah.
It is essentially sitting right in the lap of the motherboard.
Exactly. Sometimes it's just millimeters away. You've got wiring harnesses, temperature sensors, digital controllers, all right behind a flimsy vent.
Which means the most common way people try to clean a greasy pan is guaranteed to kill this appliance.
Oh, absolutely. If you take a dripping wet sponge to that ceiling, you are going to fry the machine.
It's basically like trying to wash a computer motherboard with a wet rag, right?
That is the perfect analogy. Because water doesn't just drip straight down. Capillary action pulls that moisture up and laterally right into the wiring chassis.
Wait, really? It travels up?
Yeah, water finds a way. And if a single droplet bridges a capacitor or shorks a temperature sensor, your air fryer is just permanently dead.
Wow. Okay, so that totally explains why manufacturer manuals treat this area like some sort of classified government secret.
Right. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah. You look at the instruction booklet for any major brand, and it tells you exactly how to wash the basket, but there is complete silence on how to clean the ceiling. They just pretend it doesn't exist.
They do, because they assume, and let's be honest, they're probably correct, that if they explicitly tell you to clean it, your first instinct will be to grab a spray bottle of heavy-duty cleaner and just go to town.
Yeah, that would be my instinct for sure.
Exactly. So since the risk of a fried machine is so high, they just omit the instructions entirely.
So what's the workaround? How do we clean it without ruining the electronics?
We have to adopt the absolute golden rule of air fryer maintenance. It's a very strict boundary.
Right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Damp, not wet. If it drips, it's too wet.
Damp, not wet. Okay, I think everyone listening needs to memorize that right now. But that brings up a huge logistical problem.
How so?
Well, we can't introduce liquid, and we can't use a spray bottle. But we are staring down 2 years of hardened, crusty dorm grease. How on earth do we penetrate that grime without creating a mudslide into the motherboard?
Ah, this is where it gets clever. We have to leverage the machine's own mechanics against the grime. We bypass direct liquid application entirely and use a steam hack.
The steam hack. Okay, I saw this in the source material and it's brilliant. So you pour a shallow layer of water and a little bit of regular dish soap into the basket, right?
Yep. Just water and a few drops of dish soap. You slide the basket back in, and you run the empty air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 minutes.
And what exactly does that do?
Well, think about the physics. When you heat that mixture to 400 degrees, you generate a massive volume of soapy steam. And remember, an air fryer is basically a high-velocity convection oven.
Oh, right, the fan.
Exactly. The internal fan vigorously circulates that hot, soapy steam, driving it upward into the vent matrix and all around the coil.
So it's creating this highly concentrated, humid microclimate up there.
Yes, and it permeates the upper chamber as a vapor. It softens the baked-on grease on a molecular level.
And because it's vapor, there are no dangerous liquid drips to threaten the electronics.
Right. It's a completely safe, deep pour cleanse.
That is so smart. Okay, so when you pull the basket out after 8 minutes, the inside walls are covered in condensation. But before we get to the wiping part, there's a really crucial safety step here.
Oh, extremely crucial. You're dealing with an appliance that just blasted hot steam near a motherboard. The absolute last thing you want is phantom electrical current running through the system while you're poking around with a damp cloth.
Right, water and electricity, always a bad combo.
So you have to physically unplug the unit from the wall. And from the moment that steam cycle ends until the entire cleaning process is finished, that plug never goes back into the outlet.
Got it. Unplugged. So the basket is out, the machine is off. The next step is to lay a towel down on the counter, physically pick up the entire air fryer, and flip it completely upside down.
Yes. And that physical inversion is your ultimate safety net.
Because gravity is finally working for you instead of against you.
Exactly. If you do make a mistake later and use a cloth that's slightly too damp, any microscopic droplets will be pulled down onto your towel rather than seeping deep into the wiring chassis.
It's such a simple mechanical advantage. But here is where the process threw me a total curveball.
The dry wipe.
Yes. The very next step, once it's cool enough to touch, is to go in with a completely dry paper towel. No soap, no damp cloth, just dry paper.
And it seems counterintuitive, right?
Completely. My first thought was, wouldn't a damp microfiber cloth grab all that dusty grime so much better?
It's a natural assumption. But think about baking.
Okay, baking.
If you have loose flour, salt, and breadcrumbs on your counter, and you hit it with a soaking wet rag, what happens?
You don't clean it up. You just make a sticky, horrible paste.
Right. You are avoiding the creation of a nightmare paste. Because the debris field up there isn't just grease. It's loose panko crumbs, dusting flour, and dry spices.
Basically the ingredients for papier-mâché.
Yes. If you introduce moisture to that loose debris first, you instantly bind it together into a thick glue. And once it's glue, it gets pushed deep into all the crevices and behind the fan blades.
Oh man, that sounds impossible to get out.
It is. So by doing a thorough dry wipe first, you knock off all the loose particulate before it can turn into a binder. It saves you an immense amount of frustration.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So the dry wipe is non-negotiable. Then, for the light superficial grease, you just use a highly wrung out microfiber cloth dipped in hot soapy water.
Right. Gentle wiping, making sure nothing drips. But that only handles the easy stuff. Now we have to face the final boss.
The final boss. The baked-on polymerized grease.
Yeah, that's the stuff that makes people want to throw the whole appliance away.
I want to pause here because we use the word grease to describe everything from salad oil to car sludge. But this grime is something else entirely. What is actually happening chemically here?
So it's a process called polymerization. When you subject lipid molecules, the oils from your food to 400-degree heat repeatedly, they undergo a structural change.
They change form.
Yeah, they cross-link with each other. The heat basically cooks the oil into a hard, durable, plastic-like resin. That's why normal dish soap just bounces right off it.
It forms like an armor on the metal.
Exactly. A hardened polymer armor.
Which totally explains why people get so frustrated and resort to extreme cleaning measures.
Yeah.
Like grabbing harsh chemicals or metal tools.
Which is exactly what you should not do. To fight this armor safely, you have a very strict list of approved weapons.
Okay, lay them out for us. What do we need?
You need a microfiber cloth, an old toothbrush, barkeeper's friend, Dawn dish soap, and paper towels. That's it.
And the band list is equally important here. No oven cleaner, no steel wool, and definitely no soaking.
Right. If we look at the materials, those bans are perfectly logical. Oven cleaner is highly caustic. It's meant for thick oven enamel, not the delicate, thin, non-stick coatings in an air fryer.
So it would just eat right through the coating.
Rapidly, and the fumes would linger deep in the ventilation system.
Yikes. And steel wool.
Too physically aggressive. It acts like a gouge, creating deep micro-abrasions in the metal where more grease will just anchor itself in the future.
That makes sense. You're just giving the grease a better place to hide next time. So instead of chemical warfare, we use a targeted strike. The source material calls it the magic paste.
Yes, the magic paste. It's brilliant.
You take about 2 tablespoons of Barkeeper's Friend, and you mix it with just enough Dawn dish soap to make a thick consistency.
And the rule here is it must be sticky, not runny.
Because of the damp, not wet principle.
Exactly. A runny paste will succumb to gravity and seep into the vents. A sticky paste has enough viscosity to stay right where you apply it on the coil.
I love how the chemistry breaks down here. Why these 2 specific products?
Mm-hmm.
What is the Barkeeper's Friend actually doing to that plasticized armor?
Barkeeper's Friend contains oxalic acid. That acid is highly effective at attacking oxidized carbon structures at a molecular level. It works to destabilize those cross-linked polymer bonds.
Wow.
Plus, the powder acts as a microabrasive. Think of it as microscopic sandpaper that is physically softer than the metal coil. It scrubs the destabilized grease without scratching the underlying metal.
But the acid doesn't carry the grease away, right? Once the bond breaks, the grease is still just sitting there, which is why we add the Dawn dish soap.
Precisely. Dawn provides a heavy dose of surfactants. While the acid breaks the armor apart, the surfactant immediately surrounds and encapsulates those broken oil molecules.
So it lifts them away from the surface so you can wipe them off.
It's a perfect 1-2 punch.
So you take the old toothbrush, apply this sticky paste directly onto the stubborn black spots, and then this is a crucial step. You walk away for 5 minutes.
Right. You have to give the oxalic acid time to actually react with the polymers. We call that dwell time. If you scrub immediately, you're just relying on physical force.
Which defeats the entire purpose of mixing up a chemical paste.
Exactly. Let the chemistry do the work.
So after 5 minutes, you come back, give it a gentle scrub with the toothbrush, and then wipe it incredibly thoroughly with a clean, heavily wrung-out damp cloth.
Yes. And you might have to repeat this on the really bad spots, but you have to ensure every single trace of that paste is gone.
Because you really don't want chemical residue on a heating element.
Oh, definitely not. If you leave it, it will vaporize the next time you turn the machine on. You don't want aerosolized soap bonding to your dinner.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
But speaking of realistic expectations, I really appreciated the honesty in the source material here.
About how it looks afterward.
Yeah, after all this chemistry and scrubbing, you step back, and the air fryer,
Yeah.
it still doesn't look brand new.
No, it doesn't. And that's okay. The metal coil is clean to the touch, but it's permanently discolored.
Right, it has dark stains burned into the alloy. We have been conditioned to clean for aesthetics, always aiming for that factory-fresh shine.
But heat changes metal permanently. Getting it to look like it just came out of the box isn't the goal.
The goal is just removing the active, rancid grease so it no longer vaporizes into your fresh food. Once the surface is smooth, you've succeeded.
And to finalize that success, you have to execute a burn-off phase.
Right, because even with meticulous wiping, there might be microscopic traces of soap or loosened grease trapped in the pores of the metal.
Exactly. So you plug the unit back in, keep the basket completely empty, and run it at 400 degrees for 5 minutes.
It literally incinerates any lingering residue safely, pushing it out the exhaust vent.
It's the final reset for the physical components.
Okay, so the physical grime is gone, the coil is smooth. But let's say you finish the burn-off, you open the basket, and the kitchen still smells like a frat house basement.
Ah, the lingering odor problem.
Yeah, the physical grease is gone, but we have an invisible problem now. What is causing that smell?
It's aerosolized grease. Over hundreds of cooking cycles, microscopic fat droplets get sucked deep inside the internal airflow system.
Like into the fan housing and deep vents?
Exactly. Areas you could never physically reach with a toothbrush without completely dismantling the appliance.
So we need a vaporized solution to fight a vaporized problem. And the source outlines this incredible chemical-free hack.
It's so effective.
You take a small, oven-safe bowl, pour in equal parts water and white vinegar, and add a splash of lemon juice. Then you set that bowl inside the basket and run it at 350 degrees for 15 minutes.
It's basically an acidic vapor peel for the appliance's respiratory system.
I love that description. An acidic vapor peel.
That's exactly what it is. The heat aerosolizes the acetic acid in the vinegar and the citric acid in the lemon.
And the fan pushes that steam everywhere.
Vigorously, it pushes that acidic steam through the entire vent matrix, neutralizing the alkaline compounds that cause this stale odor.
It strips the smell at a molecular level.
Mhm.
And because it's just vinegar and lemon, it is completely food safe.
Exactly.
So the machine is physically clean, the vents are deodorized, it smells faintly of citrus, and the biohazard is finally neutralized.
A successful rescue mission.
But after outlining this entire arduous Saturday morning project, I feel like the most important takeaway is how to guarantee you never have to do this again.
Oh, absolutely. Prevention is everything.
And that brings us to the 30-second rule.
The holy grail of appliance maintenance.
It goes like this. After every single time you cook, you wait for the machine to cool down to a safe temperature. Then, you pull out the basket, take a damp paper towel, and quickly wipe the heating element and the sealing area. 30 seconds. That's it.
It sounds almost laughably simple after we just spent all this time discussing polymerization and acidic vapor peels.
It really does, but it works because of the physics of fresh grease, right?
Exactly. Grease that has only been heated one single time is still loose, volatile, and sitting right on the surface. It hasn't cross-linked into a resin yet.
So it just wipes off effortlessly. I was thinking about the psychology behind why we don't do this.
Oh, it's totally behavioral.
Right, because when you use an air fryer, your primary goal is eating hot food quickly. The machine dings, you dump the fries on your plate, and you go eat.
And by the time you're done eating, the machine is cold, the fresh grease has begun to set.
And the absolute last thing you want to do is go back to the kitchen, pull out a cloth, and wipe the ceiling of an appliance. You just push the basket back in. Out of sight, out of mind.
It's a classic case of future discounting. We gladly trade a 30-second minor inconvenience today for a massive multi-hour headache a year from now.
The math is brutal, though. Wiping fresh grease takes 30 seconds. But wiping grease that has been baked, cooled, and rebaked for 50 cook cycles.
That takes a toothbrush, a precisely mixed chemical paste, a 15-minute vapor peel, and a ton of elbow grease.
So if you're listening to this and feeling a little guilty about your own kitchen habits, you are not alone. The friction is real, but the alternative is making a paste out of Barkeeper's Friend on a Saturday.
Trust me, once you experience the nightmare of scraping polymerized resin off a motherboard shield, that 30-second wipe down feels like the greatest convenience in the world.
So let's synthesize this journey for everyone listening right now. If you are staring down a neglected air fryer, your roadmap to redemption is clear.
Step 1.
First, use soapy steam to soften the blow. Second, unplug the machine, lay down a towel, and flip it upside down so gravity protects your electronics.
Step 3 is crucial.
Always do a dry wipe first to knock down the debris field and avoid creating a smeary glue. Fourth, for the tough spots, use the Sticky Barkeeper's Friend and Dawn combo to break the chemical bonds.
And then finish it off with a lemon vinegar steam to neutralize the hidden odors.
And above all else, remember the golden rule that protects the heart of your appliance damp, not wet.
Keep in mind that maintaining your appliances isn't just about making the hidden parts look pretty. It's directly tied to the flavor profile of the food you are putting into your body.
Totally.
And it drastically extends the lifespan of what is ultimately a fairly expensive piece of technology.
Exactly. You deserve fries that actually taste like potatoes, not an amalgamation of every meal you've cooked since 2024.
Seriously.
And it all comes back to how we view these tools we rely on every single day. We treat our kitchen gadgets like magic black boxes.
We really do. We just expect them to work.
We put the raw ingredients in, press a digital button, expect perfection, and happily divorce ourselves from the dirty mechanisms that actually do the heavy lifting.
We want the convenience of the output without the responsibility of the maintenance.
Which leaves me with a final thought for you to ponder long after we wrap up today's deep dive. If we blindly trust these specific appliances to cook the very food we eat, while actively avoiding looking at the heating elements doing the cooking, well, what other hidden elements in our daily routines are we completely neglecting?
That is a great question.
Are there other tools, systems, or habits, maybe the filters in your HVAC system, the digital clutter on your hard drive, or the lint trap deep inside your dryer that we just assume will run perfectly forever, simply because the manufacturer never explicitly gave us a warning label to check on them?
It's definitely worth asking where else we might be letting the metaphorical grease build up just because it's slightly out of sight.
So tonight, when you go into your kitchen to make dinner, I invite you to take a hard look at your own magic black box. Unplug it, take out the basket, and flip your air fryer upside down if you dare. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.